Hi, boys and girls, it's Miss Patty, and today I told you when we were at Children's Church that I was going to show you a video of something you could do for your acts of kindness. And we're going to make this special cookie, or a cracker, or a biscuit. It's the shape of a dog, and you know why? Because we're going to make doggy biscuits. So for one of your acts of kindness, it can be to make a biscuit for your doggy, and you could share it with a cousin or a neighbor who has a doggy. So today I started some of my baking because I wanted Prancer to try it, and she loved it, and Prancer's my dog. So you see it? I have a little cookie cutter that's the shape of a dog with a tail and 2 ears. So we only need 5 ingredients today. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to tell you that I'm making a small batch. So a small batch is not a big batch. So it may give us up to maybe 8 cookies, and that's okay because I have a little doggy. I don't want her to eat too many cookies. Like, you're not supposed to eat too many cookies, right? So on my counter I have a lot of flour because we're going to need that. So it may look messy, but that's what we want. So the first thing we're going to do is I want to just show you real quick is we have 5 ingredients, and 2 items are white and 3 are brown. So we talked about contrast. One's light, one's dark. So the first thing we're going to need is 1/2 cup. So I'm going to look 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. So I'm going to put that. Did you know doggies like pumpkin? Like, you know, you like pumpkin pie or pumpkin muffins. Guess what? Doggies love this too. And you know what? It's good for them. There's lots of vitamins in there, just like for us. So today, instead of using a whisk, I'm going to use my blender. So I'm just going to put in 1/2 cup of puree. Nothing with the sugars in it, because there are sugars that doggies are not allowed to eat. So it may have, like when I eat sugars, Miss Patty eats certain type of sugars. My doggie can't have that. It will make her very sick. All right, and then we need peanut butter. So peanut butter, we need, actually a small batch is 1/6. Now I don't have a 1/6, so when you learn in school, you learn that's 1/2 of 1/3. So I'm just going to put 1/2 of this cup of peanut butter. You can use any peanut butter you want. I wouldn't use crunchy though. I would use the smooth. And I'm going to put like 2 big gobs of, and that's about 1/2, and I'm going to stick that right in my blender. Remember, you could do this here right with your whisk, and that's okay too. But today, Miss Patty was going to just use her blender. All right, we'll get that away. And then we're going to add 1 egg. So far we have 3 ingredients. And remember I said tap it a little bit, use Mr. Thumbkin and Pointer, pull it apart, and then it gets right in there. Now, if a shell gets in there, it won't make a doggy sick. It's crunchy. It won't make a person sick either. But we didn't want that. We want it nice and smooth. So I'm going to put this up here and let it start. Uh-oh, Miss Patty forgot to plug it in. All right, that's very important because we need that electricity. All right, so we're going to turn that on. It's a little noisy. Next thing we're going to need is 1 cup of flour. You could use wheat flour. I use white flour because it's probably the most inexpensive. That means it's the cheapest. And it's only like $99.99 a bag. And so I'll put that right in here. I won't use almond flour for my doggy. And then cinnamon. So we're going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon. That's not a lot, not a tablespoon. So 1/4 of the cinnamon. Put that right in here, and then we'll get rid of that. Now you can't use nutmeg. Like when your mom makes pumpkin pie, or grandma, or somebody else. Oh, it's already done. See, that's why we did that. You can't use nutmeg. For some doggies, it makes them very sick. So I'm just going to use my whisk here and then move all of the cinnamon and the flour around and around, and it's light. And then we're done with that. That's pretty fast, huh? Let's move these out of the way so we can see everything. All right. And we'll need the flour again, so we'll keep that out. All right. It's nice and creamy. I just want to show you what it looks like. Do you see how creamy it is? Ooh, it looks just like if you were making cookies for you. So, and guess what? If you ate this doggy biscuit, you wouldn't get sick because it's all the things that we're allowed to eat as people, but we're making it special for the doggies. Okay? It doesn't taste sweet because there's no sugar in there. All right, we'll just put a little bit of flour in here at a time. And the reason why I do that is just so that as I'm stirring it, sometimes flour will spray. That means it gets all over the place. And, you know, Moms, we don't want a messy kitchen, or grandmas or dads, right? So we're going to mix it until it becomes like a ball. So I'm going to put the rest of it right in there. All of that is gone. We'll mix this up and then it'll turn into a ball, and I'll show that to you. That's when we need to roll it out on all that white surface. That means the countertop. Sometimes mommies and daddies and grandmas use cutting boards, and that's okay too. All right, so I'm just going to show you that it's getting, as I'm mixing it, into a ball. So I want to show you. Do you see that? It's like a big ball, right? So I'm going to put some flour, just sprinkle a little bit more down on my counter. And this is the time that it's okay to get a little messy, isn't it? So I'm going to put my ball, see? There's my ball. And there's, looks like a ball hanging onto my spoon. So I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm going to just move it around a little bit. And you don't want too much flour because it'll get dry and crackly. But you don't want it too mushy because then it sticks. So Miss Patty was making a bunch before, and I noticed, oh my, I needed some more flour because it was sticking. And then I couldn't make my doggy shape. So I'm flattening it out with my hand. And we did this with the Play-Doh. It feels like Play-Doh. Like when we did the Play-Doh, it was nice and squishy, just like that. All right, we'll move that out of the way. So now I have my cookie-shaped doggy. My hands have a little bit stickiness to it, so I'm going to rinse them off. So this way, you can see. All right. Dry them right off. And now I'm going to use my roller. Now, you can use a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, that's okay. You can actually use a can. Did you know that? Just a regular soup can. You can roll it with a soup can. That's okay too. That's problem solving, isn't it? And today we had a good time because we made some scarecrows. And we talked about how the scarecrows in the fields last week, we colored pumpkins, and we talked about how scarecrows in the fields scare away the crows, the birds. But then we learned in the Bible that it says, I don't have to fear anything because God said he'll always be with us. So that was our verse today. I will not fear, for he is with us, for God is with us all the time. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so here's one. So I want you to see, I have his little ears and tails. I'm going to slide that right on my paper. This is parchment paper. I use that for baking. It helps things not to stick. And then I learned a trick that if we don't have any of the dough on here, and we just move it into flour, and then press it down, because if your counter's not even, then it might not get the shape. And that fell right out. Look at that one. Again, I'm going to do that with the flour. And I shook it a little bit, and there it is. So I'm going to make another one. I can see it's getting a little sticky. So I'm going to do that. Move that over, and there he is. Now, did you notice a little piece was on his ear? And that's okay. I just kind of gently took it off, and that's okay too. So I'm going to move this again, and I shook him and make sure I get him nice and flat. And I got to... You know, if he sticks to the counter, you know what? You can use a spatula. That's this flat utensil. And I could just grab him. And then if I got his head a little squished, I could just flatten him out. I can use my hands like I'm sculpturing, like I'm doing clay. So now this one's, you could feel it sticky. It needs some more flour. Do you see how it's sticking to the counter? So that means we just need some more flour. This one is sticking, and I bet you if I try, he's going to curl up. So let's try it, and I'll show you. Oh, yeah. There he is. See? He doesn't look like a doggy anymore, does he? So I'm going to put him back in the pile, and then I'm going to add some flour, roll him out again, and then we're going to make some other doggies. Now, if you have a dog bone shape, you can use that. Sometimes mommies have and daddies have stars or Christmas trees. Doggies don't know the shape. I just make them with the doggy shape because it's just fun for Prancer. And then I know, oh my, don't eat that. That's for Prancer. That's her cookie, right? So then I'm going to press it down and I shake it. And I press it down and I shake it. And they are coming right up. Look at that. Here he is. And here's my other one. Nice. And I have some more. So I'm going to bake them in 350 degrees and it'll turn out like this. And guess what? Then we will have a doggy treat. So remember, for your acts of kindness, that you can make these doggy treats for your doggy, or you can make it for your neighbor's doggy, or even a relative, like grandma if she has a doggy. Now, this isn't for cats. Cats like different things. But I just want you to know that doggies love peanut butter, they love pumpkin, and they like cinnamon, but not nutmeg. Remember that. That's what we use for our pumpkin pies. So then I bake this for like 40 minutes, and then it comes out crispy. All right. Well, we missed you. We're so glad that we had you today, and we learned some new things. And next week, Miss Patty won't be there, but we'll have a special guest teacher. And I have two special surprises for you that you're going to love when you come to Children's Church. So we'll see you next week. Bye.